Well, let's start with what everybody wants to know.
Oh, God.
Trav, when's the wedding?
Get this guy. I was wondering what he was going to ask.
I didn't know what was coming next.
Hardest probably start to a season you guys have faced together in terms, 0-2. How have you guys been handling this new form of adversity?
For us, it's like, don't make it bigger than what it is.
Yeah.
Know how important it is and that we need to get back on track, but just go back to work, do what we do, and then the results will kind of come in our favor as the season goes on.
Our dad, when he would drop us off at school, he would tell the teacher, he would say, hey, you have full authority to hit this kid if he gets out alive. So just want to let you know, from Papa Kelsey, you do have authority. This guy could be.
That's exactly what you told me at the draft.
Welcome to the pod. Welcome to Brian's World. I am your host, your big homie, the ambassador of Kansas City, Kansas City's favorite son, Brian B. Shynin. I'm so blessed and honored that you're spending some time with me here in Brian's World, because you literally could have been anywhere else in the world, but you're here with me. Love and appreciate you for that so much. And make sure you tap into Foolish Club Media. We got all the Chiefs podcasts that you need. It's cracking over there at Foolish Club Media. Rate, subscribe, and review at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on YouTube. And while you kicking it at YouTube, make sure that you hit the subscribe button to the Be Shining page. With the Brian's World episodes drop every single Wednesday. My Hustle and Shine in the Morning content from Hot 103 Jams. Beats, mixes. I even put some workout stuff on there, food reviews, or not semi-food reviews. I just like to show off a couple restaurants here and there. But anyway, anything that's tapping into Brian's World, make sure you check it out on the Be Shining page on YouTube. The Chiefs lose against the Jaguars. How in the hell did that happen? I'll break it down for you and give you my thoughts on that. Golly, that was so frustrating. There was some big stadium news that dropped Monday. Yeah, I think some things are getting solidified in Kansas City. Also, the Mount Rushmore of receivers, Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, they recently was on the podcast and gave their Mount Rushmore of receivers. I'll give you mine. We'll have an interesting discussion about that. It is my big brother's 50th birthday. And I'll tell you why that means so much to me coming up. Celebrated a lot of birthdays here recently. Cardi B versus Nicki Minaj, man. Why this beef needs to end ASAP and why it affects you and I. Plus, you already know, B Shining's best, and we're going to tap in with a fit check.
A little sloppiness on penalties. Overall, I think we had 13 penalties. It's hard to win a game when you're beating yourself in the foot like that. It's tough. I think we got to clean up on all phases. The sloppy play, the forced errors by us. I think we can get that. We can get back on the right track. I thought multiple times we had him. We just got to finish. We got to finish. We had multiple guys there that we just got to finish that play. It was a fluke play for him to be able to break that many tackles. But yeah, I think I put it on us as a defense. We got to finish. We got to bring him down on that. We're going to continue to bounce back. We gave this game away on so many mistakes by us. So many things we could have done differently. Watch film. We got a quick turnover for a week to coming up. I think this group will bounce back. I think we're going to fix the errors that we can control as the penalties. And once we eliminate the penalties and play disciplined football, I think we put ourselves in a good position to win.
As perplexed as I am right now, I really want to ask y'all, are y'all feeling the same way that I'm feeling? Like, are you asking yourself the same question that I am? Because the question that I want to ask y'all that I'm asking myself right now is, how in the did the Chiefs lose that game? Try and explain that one, man. that was to me a classic Chiefs loss. If you're a vintage fan like me, you experienced many of these losses in the 90s, 2000s, and even some in the 2010s too. But Lord have mercy, that one fits right in that category right there, because Trevor Lawrence just completely falls on his ass, stumbles, gets up, and scores the game-winning touchdown. But how in the hell did we even get there? It seemed like the Chiefs were in full control of the game. Offense was doing whatever the hell they wanted to do. Defense coming up with stops. And it seemed like the Jaguars couldn't get anything right or anything going, at least in the first half, with their offense. They started to get it going really late in that first half. But then the offense just stalled. From what, mid to late second quarter going into the third quarter, there was nothing. And I tell you part of the reason why, I know one thing, penalties. Just absolute drive killers. Even before the Chiefs could even start some drives, there were penalties. Jack Cochran.
Hey, what are you doing?
Those were killers tonight. His 2 holding penalties put the Chiefs in a hole early in drives. And then you look at Harrison Butker with his penalty, yet affecting another game negatively. Now, I know and I understand that it's really nothing the Chiefs can do, and I'm not even saying that we need to advocate getting a new kicker right now. But damn, something needs to be done. Something. I don't know. I'm pretty sure they've had heart-to-hearts. I'm pretty sure Tobe and Reed has told them, like, hey, let's straighten this up. Look, the last thing they're going to do is bail on their players, especially Harrison Butker with how many times he done came through. I think the Chiefs need to realize he's not the same player. And not necessarily for 25, but for 26, the bare minimum should be competition at camp. And I'm talking about legit competition, like low-key, almost drafting a kicker competition for Harrison Butker. Because what he did against the Jaguars, kicking the ball out of bounds to set them up. See, the Chiefs were in holes early, and the Jaguars were getting good field position early. And then you give the Jaguars their lifeblood, what they've been living and dying on this entire season, which is turnovers. And look, man, for as great as Patrick Mahomes is, and for as great as he was against the Jaguars, that mistake swung the game the entire way. The Chiefs were about to go up 21-14, and all of a sudden you're down 21-14. A total 14-point swing, a big momentum shifter, momentum booster for the Jaguars. If you ever played Madden, the old momentum bar just going absolute complete bonkers on the game, and now you can't even win the game. But, with all that being said, I felt like the Chiefs were still going to win that game. I had full and complete confidence that they were like, okay, we'll take that one on the chin. We'll go down. We'll score. We'll tie it up. We'll stop them. We'll go down. We'll score again. Blase, blase, blase. A lot of that happened except the stopping of the Jaguars. And I was shocked that the defense looked as porous as it did, but there are reasons to that. One of them being Jalen Watson, as he was getting picked on. And this ain't the only game where we've seen Watson getting picked on. We also saw him get cooked against the Chargers too. Although, he's played well in some spots. And I think one reason that people are going at Jalen Watson is because of the greatness of Trent McDuffie and how he's I don't want to say a shutdown corner, but Fred Warner said it on Manningcast. One of the best corners in the league, top 2, top 3. I mean, did you see Sauce Gardner getting torched by George Pickens, Cowboys Jets the other day? So, but Watson has to be better in certain spots when you know that they're certainly not going to McDuffie. So they're going to your man, and to allow that third down, that third and long in that fourth quarter, it was crucial. What was that? 30, 40-yard gain to Brian Thomas Jr. But I kind of feel conflicted because I really felt like the offense again had another game where they had a lot of momentum and where you saw a lot of things clicking for them. Now Xavier Worthy getting dinged up a little bit, and you saw it in the game a little bit. Not, not too thrilled with that. And I think that's when the offense kind of started to stall, is when Xavier Worthy got hurt. And then all of a sudden you see Kareem Hunt getting a lot of carries, and they had to switch it back to kind of the week 1 and week 2 offense. To me, it was a difference between a week 1 and week 2 versus the week 3 and week 4 offenses. To me, they were completely different. And I think the Chiefs had to put a little bit of mixture of both in there due to Xavier Worthy getting dinged up. Now he did come back in, but I think he was being used more as a decoy in certain spots. But that's, if you notice, that's when the offense started to not be as productive and stall a little bit, along with what I mentioned before in the penalties. And once again, Jawan Taylor strikes again. And it's every little penalty that he makes now, every single one is going to be magnified. And he has nobody to blame but himself, and for the fact that he's been the most penalized player ever since he came to the Chiefs, and due to the fact that Josh Simmons was, sick today. So now we looking at Jalen Moore. And due to the fact that the entire fan base knows what your cap number is for next year, and they know that you will not be a Chief. So people are already wanting you off the team, let alone starting at right tackle and still causing penalties. The Chiefs are stopping themselves. Literally, the tip pass. Oh, that pissed me off in the game as well. The tip pass that Trevor Lawrence had, that Nick Bolton almost had that interception, except he kind of ran into Drew Tranquil. And at that point, I think it was 14-0. The Chiefs would have had the ball. The least you do, you go up 3 scores if you go down and get a field goal. You go up 17-0. You make it real tough for the Jaguars to come back and win. But the only thing stopping this team is themselves, specifically the offense. Another penalty that kind of pissed me off and showed like, hey, you got to show a little mental toughness here, is Hollywood Brown. Of course, on the football field, players are talking shit to each other. There's a bravado, there's a certain macho that, sometimes you got to be smarter than that. And you got to wait and be patient to get your lick back, and not in the moment and trying to steal on somebody while they got their helmet on. Just those little things and those mistakes, you tinker those things, you straighten those things out, and this team could be unstoppable. That was a good Jaguars team. And I should have prefaced this by saying that, because right now they're 4-1. First place in their division. And I'm not making up any excuses for this team or anything like that. I like to put things in their proper perspective, in the words of Jay-Z. But I do want to point out some players who I thought had some outstanding moments. Nick Bolton. He has been playing like a Tasmanian devil this year. He has been outstanding in especially in his run defense. His pass defense has improved immensely, I think, from the past couple years. And him making that play against Trevor Lawrence to cause that fumble where the Chiefs stopped them on 4th down, where they tried to do that tush push. And that is an example of why the tush push should not be banned. and that it is completely unfair to the Eagles if that play gets banned. But they're gonna do it though. I think. Look, you saw what happened against the Chiefs, and you saw them speaking out about it. Various people that they're gonna do away with it, but the fact that the Jaguars could not do it should be reason enough. The Bills couldn't do it either. So it's again a special skill set for a special team with the Eagles. Drew Tranquil, he's like both of the Chiefs linebackers been balling their ass off. Drew Tranquil had a great game in coverage and in that run game too, man. He's been balling. I've been impressed with what Drew Tranquil has done this year. He looks fresh. He looks young. He looks a little fast. Josh Simmons, another one, came into the game questionable. This was like a last second questionable because he wasn't on the injury report all week. But he ended up playing and looked good again. Josh Simmons, we got us one at left tackle. We finally got us an anchor at left tackle for Patrick Mahomes. And with Patrick Mahomes, when he has a line and capable receivers, a talented and more than capable wide receiver room, very talented wide receiver rooms, that man is lethal. He is unstoppable. But the Jaguars, you got to give them credit, though, as I drift off into this real quick. You got to give the Jaguars credit for intercepting Mahomes at the goal line when they faked the blitz. They brought one guy, but the other guy faked in, went back, Devin Lloyd, that is, and it was a great read on his behalf. Mahomes never saw him, and it ended up being the biggest momentum swing of the game for sure. Trent McDuffie. Man, I guess Trent McDuffie, he might be surfing on Twitter or something like that because there was a certain article by Arrowhead Pride, and shout out to them, but there was something that mentioned like, let's argue. Let's trade Trent McDuffie.
That's stupid. Use
Like,
your common
no,
sense.
what crack are you smoking? Whoever wrote that article.
That big dummy.
I don't know. Maybe McDuffie saw that, but he balled his ass off, man. Trent McDuffie low-key looks like a shutdown corner. Like you put him in the slot, man, zone, blitz, whatever you want to do. Trent McDuffie can do it at a high level. Trading Trent what?
Lord have mercy.
Imagine the Chiefs without Trent McDuffie. Where love to Jalen Watson, but Watson would be your number one corner. It would be ugly for the Chiefs. It would affect every single part of your team if you did not have a cornerback like Trent McDuffie. This defense would not be the same. It would not be as dominant as it is now. I'm not sure where it will fall. Below middle of the pack for sure if this team didn't have McDuffie. Come on now. Kingsley Sumatai. Now, he did have a penalty, but you can see the improvement in him fitting right in that left guard. There was a pull he had to get Kareem Hunt, the Chiefs' last touchdown, I believe it was. He led the way, pulling from that left guard spot. But he looks super comfortable now at left guard. He looks like he's supposed to be there. And then Bashar Smith. This is another game where you see another little set of packages for Bashar Smith. And you're seeing him a lot now on kickoff returns too. But the Chiefs ever so slightly and gently entering him into the game plan. I'm seeing a little role carved out for him. Of course, the Chiefs missed that Jerick McKinnon role, and they've been doing a good job of making sure that the running backs are catching the ball this year with the screen game and the flats and all of that. But it's a tough loss, man. You're now 2-3, but now it's like a low-key must-win going against Detroit on Sunday Night Football. But just when everything was falling your way, Chiefs, you decided to just piss it away a little bit. The Bills lose, the Chargers lose, and you had a chance to be within one game of the 1 seed in spite of everything that happened this year with starting off 0-2, and you had a chance to have a 3-way tie on top of the division after the terrible start. Look, man, more work to be done with this team, but you can't fall to 2-4. You know, you got these Lions coming in here, regarded as one of the best teams in the league, and they are. They got a lethal ass running game. They got a monster offensive line and a solid ass defense. So the Chiefs cannot come to play this Sunday night football. They got to get in it. This is look, man, 2-4 and 3-3, two different hemispheres, man. So, but the Lions do have some injuries at corner that is of note. I think both of their starting corners are going to be out this game. You got to keep pace with the Chargers, Broncos, and the Bills here in the AFC now. Cannot fall too far behind. But you want to know something? This Lions game is the last game without Rashee Rice. And we have yet to see the 2025 Chiefs in their entirety. We have yet to see Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, and Hollywood Brown all on the field at the same time. This is the last game that's going to happen. But I'll end it like this, though. I'm excited to get Rashee Rice back on this team. But he could not have help against the Jaguars and what happened in that game. The offense was not the problem, as our concerns now shift over to the defense.